Hi guys, Pete Mazaris, Detailed Home Inspections, Cleveland, Ohio. We are a local home inspection company that focuses on investment property inspections for out-of-state, in-state, out-of-country, in-country investors. And we have observed those investors who continue to, be our clients and invest in the Cleveland income properties. And so my last video, I was talking about point of sale inspections. Cleveland currently doesn't have any point of sale inspections, but some of the other municipalities surrounding Cleveland does, okay? And you need to be aware of which of those cities around Cleveland that have income properties that you may be interested in have a point of sale requirement. You need to understand what that is, okay? Cleveland doesn't, but the one thing that Cleveland does have is a lead safe program. And so what Cleveland enacted a couple years ago, after being thrown the book at by the state of Ohio Department of Health, okay, for the lead poisoning problem in the low income areas of Cleveland because of all the peeling lead-based paint, the city of Cleveland decided to implement a lead clearance, lead safe process whereby landlords of income properties, okay, single family, duplexes, triplexes, quads, whatever, and even multiple unit homes, every couple years has to get the property inspected by a registered lead inspector, lead tester. They're not a lead inspector, they're lead testers specifically for Cleveland. That's separate from being licensed by the state of Ohio Department of Health to do lead inspections in a home. So I'm going to be clear on that. So Cleveland requires these inspections and clearances every couple years, I think it is, in order for the occupancy permit to, I think, be renewed or even to transfer. And so that means that the onus on ensuring that the property, the income property, passes the inspection so that it can get the certification is on the owner, okay? And so what this requires is that landlord to have a lead clearance inspector who is registered by the city of Cleveland, and that private registered inspector, which we've done. Okay, we've done this ourselves, but we don't do it anymore because we think it's pretty competitive and it's a area that we don't want to compete in. But what happens is that you, as the landlord, has to hire a inspector who is registered, and that inspector comes in, and the first thing they do is they inspect the property on the exterior for peeling or damaged paint, which includes the garages, and on the interior for peeling and damaged paint. And so if there's any peeling or damaged paint, no matter if it's lead or not, okay, that's a failure, okay? The inspector can't then do the next step, which is test the actual paint by taking samples of the exterior surfaces and the interior surfaces and submitting them to a lab. So the first thing that you have to ensure is that the paint on the exterior and on the interior is not damaged, chipped, or peeling. So when you're looking to buy an income property house in Cleveland, you should be aware of this requirement. And I would ask, as a buyer, if that seller has that lead safe certificate and how recent it is, and when is the next inspection do. And keep that in mind when you are having the property inspected or maybe looked at by your realtor who's on site, if you're not on site, okay? And so know and understand that if there's chipped or damaged or peeling paint, somebody's got to repaint it, okay? Otherwise, it's going to fail. So the second step after that is the inspector will take dust samples. They'll wipe down areas such as the windowsills, window frames, doors, touch points throughout the house. And then they take and send those samples to the lab for a reading to see if the lead quantity or ppm lead in that sample is, elevated. And if it is, then it fails. And then the landlord has to take remediation action and then have it tested again, bring the inspector back out, pay the inspector to come back out and do this. And so, it's wise to make sure that before you have that lead safe inspector come out, that you have first of all, ensure that all the paint that is present is not damaged, okay, and chipping or peeling, and if it is, to take care of that. But after that step, it is wise to have a cleaning company perhaps that specializes in, cleaning up, wiping down surfaces in preparation for these inspections, to have that contractor or cleaning company come out and do that before the testing. Now, I'm aware of some of these lead clearance inspectors that work in tandem with cleaning companies that can come out and wipe down, clean up, and have the property, in a position to best pass the test by making sure that it's clean and there aren't, dust and other particles that could contaminate the sample, all right, or cause a positive result in the sample. And so that's how specifically the landlord goes and, proceeds with respect to having this testing processed and completed, so that they can then submit the passing test from the registered inspector to the city and get that lead clearance certificate. That's good, I think, for the next 2 years. Now, there is a website that you can go to learn about this process in more specific terms than obviously that I'm giving you now. And it's, if you were to look up Cleveland Lead Safe Project, it would take you to the Cleveland Lead Safe site, and you can certainly learn more about the program and what your responsibility is as a landlord. So, as home inspectors, detailed home inspections, all my guys are keyed in to observing lead-based paint problems in all properties that we inspect. And we know what lead-based paint, peeling paint looks like. And we include that in our inspection report that you would hire us to do, hopefully, before you were to purchase one of these properties. And so now we're not doing the testing, we're not lead inspectors, we're not lead clearance inspectors, but we're general inspectors, and we know these properties and we know what the issues are, and so we certainly flag that in our report. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys.